What's up, combatants? Death is everywhere in the Mortal Kombat series, and much like comic books, when a character dies in Mortal Kombat, it doesn't always mean they're gone forever. Today I'm going to take a look at every canon death in Mortal Kombat's lore to determine which character has died the most throughout the franchise. But before I do, if you want to learn more about Mortal Kombat lore and story, then I invite you to head on over to my channel MKTemple, subscribe, and click the bell to get notifications every time I post a new video. Without further ado, let's get started. As always, I want to lay the ground rules for the video. I will only be looking at the core roster of the MK franchise, and I won't be taking a look at deaths that happen in the non-canon games. MK Special Forces, MK Shaolin Monks, or MK vs DCU. Also, this goes without saying, but I won't be looking at any of the other MK media outside of the main MK lore. The first two deaths occur in the original timeline before any Mortal Kombat game. Those deaths are Onaga and Sindel. Onaga was once the Emperor of Outworld. He ruled a united Outworld for thousands of years until he was murdered by his general Shao Kahn. Kahn poisoned Onaga and took Outworld for himself. In a quest for power, Kahn began invading other realms. One of those realms was Edenia. After losing 10 straight Mortal Kombat tournaments, Kahn successfully invaded and merged Edenia with Outworld, killed its king, King Jared, and took Queen Sindel as his bride. Sindel, unable to live with herself, committed suicide. Now hold up, those of you who are already familiar with Sindel's lore, I can feel you reaching for your keyboard to make the comment about how her story was retconned, they ruined her, she didn't kill herself, and blah blah blah. Just know this. Yes, she did. This is the original timeline, and in the original timeline, the story is different from the new timeline. I made a whole video on how timelines work in Mortal Kombat, so before you feel the need to try and educate me on Sindel's lore, check that video first. Anyway, let's continue. The next death happens thousands of years after Onaga and Sindel and comes from Mortal Kombat mythologies. This death is Scorpion, or Hanzo Hasashi. Quan Chi hired both Bi-Han, Sub-Zero, and Hanzo Hasashi, Scorpion, to retrieve a map leading to Shinnok's amulet. Bi-Han and Hanzo ran into each other on their mission and fought, resulting in Bi-Han killing Hanzo and marking the first death for Scorpion. Then, in Mortal Kombat 1, Scorpion got his revenge on Bi-Han by killing him in the Mortal Kombat tournament. Of all the other playable MK characters, no other deaths happened in Mortal Kombat 1. Mortal Kombat 2 saw a new tournament taking place in Outworld. Kitana, one of Shao Kahn's assassins, was conflicted and after learning of her true Edenian past, switched sides to assist Earthrealm. Her clone, Mileena, was ordered by Kahn to spy on Kitana. When Mileena discovered Kitana's treason, the two fought. The battle ended with Kitana killing Mileena. Mortal Kombat 3 saw Shao Kahn breaking the rules and invading Earthrealm. The game's lore featured one big name death and a few retcon deaths. Johnny Cage was killed at the beginning of the conflict by Motaro. Cage, however, was returned to his body in MK Trilogy since his path to ascension was blocked by the merger of the realms. Yeah, kind of a dumb explanation. Then in Mortal Kombat 4, he basically just asked Raiden to resurrect him, to which he complies. Kung Lao's original MK3 lore saw him dying at the hands of Shao Kahn before Liu Kang defeated the Emperor. However, it was later revealed that he was just badly beaten and went into hiding. And then there were a couple of retconned deaths, Motaro and Shiva. This overlooked part of MK lore goes like this. Sonya threw Kano off of a building. Kano's dying body was found by Motaro. Motaro brought Kano back to Shao Kahn's fortress and healed him with magic. Motaro then threw Kano into a cell for failing to defeat Sonya. Shiva, upset that Kahn chose the Centaurs over the Shokan for his invasion, killed Motaro and promised to free Kano if Kano would assist her in assassinating Shao Kahn. Kano agreed, Shiva freed him, and together they devised a plan to betray the Emperor. Kano would go in first and act as the distraction, but instead, Kano went in and told Kahn that Shiva was planning on betraying him, which resulted in Kahn stabbing her multiple times with a sword. I don't know since when Shao Kahn uses a sword, but that's how the story goes according to Kano's MKDA conquest training. Anyway, both Motaro and Shiva's deaths were retconned in Armageddon when they both appear alive with no explanation. So neither of these deaths count towards the death counter, but I still thought it would be a fun story to share. Mortal Kombat 4/Mortal Kombat Gold didn't see any character deaths. Initially, it was thought that maybe Jarek, as he got tossed off a cliff, but his Armageddon bio reveals that he thrusted his blade into the side of the cliff to slow himself down. Then, in Deadly Alliance, we actually see a bunch of character deaths. This game starts off with Liu Kang being killed by Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. Shao Kahn is then killed by the Deadly Alliance, just kidding, it was a decoy. And Goro is killed on the battlefield, just kidding, also a decoy. Su Hao is killed by Jax tearing out his artificial heart. Although this might not be canon because Su Hao does also return in Armageddon, I'm counting it because it's pretty badass. At the end of Deadly Alliance, the Deadly Alliance successfully killed all of Earthrealm's heroes, Kung Lao, Kitana, Jax, Sonya, and Johnny Cage. making Johnny Cage the first character to have 2 canon deaths.
Wow! I don't know what to say!
Then, at the very end of the conflict, a pissed off Onaga shows up, forcing Raiden to release his godlike essence and sacrifice himself. Raiden died in the blast along with Shang Tsung. Quan Chi barely escaped through a portal. However, since Raiden is immortal, he reformulated in Earthrealm. The only playable character to be killed in Mortal Kombat Deception was Onaga, being killed by Shujinko and having his soul bound to the Netherrealm by Nightwolf, making him the second character to have 2 deaths. Mortal Kombat Armageddon saw everyone die with the exception of Shao Kahn and Raiden, so we are going into the new timeline with 2 characters tied at 3 canon deaths, those characters being Johnny Cage and Onaga. Onaga died by poisoning pre-Mortal Kombat, was killed by Shujinko in Deception, and died in the Battle of Armageddon. And Johnny Cage, who was killed by Motaro in Mortal Kombat 3, killed by the Deadly Alliance, and died in the Battle of Armageddon. Now as we take a look at the new timeline, we'll have to first determine who died before the Mortal Kombat tournament. Now this is a new, separate timeline from the original timeline, and certain events still happened, but this time under different circumstances. Onaga was still poisoned and killed by Shao Kahn, bringing his death count up to 4. Sindel still died, but in this timeline she was killed by Quan Chi, because he deemed her as a threat to Shinnok. This brings her death toll to 3. And Scorpion was still killed by Bi-Han pre-MK9, bringing his death toll to 3 as well. Then, in Mortal Kombat 9, we got a ton of character deaths. Bi-Han died at the hands of Scorpion again, Kung Lao had his neck snapped by Shao Kahn after defeating Kintaro, Shang Tsung was killed by Shao Kahn in order to give Sindel more power, Motaro was killed by Raiden, and then Kuai Liang, Katana, Jade, Smoke, Striker, Jax, and Cabal all died at the hands of Sindel during her onslaught. Nightwolf also died by sacrificing himself and was able to kill Sindel with him. Liu Kang died at the hands of Raiden after a disagreement, and Shao Kahn saw his first death in the franchise at the hand of, or jaws of, the Elder Gods. The Mortal Kombat X comics, which acted as a prelude to the game, saw a number of character deaths as well. Su Hao died at the hands of Scorpion, Movado was killed by Cassie Cage, slicing him open with one of his hook swords, Scarlet was presumed to be killed by Mileena after dismembering her legs on a beach, Reiko was used as a vessel by Havoc to retrieve Shinnok's amulet. He died in a painfully agonizing body mutilation. Scorpion was beaten to death by Havoc, yet his Scorpion Spectre rage allowed him to return, still kind of unclear how this was possible. And Kintaro was beheaded by a possessed Sonya Blade. Havoc was eventually defeated by Scorpion, who beheaded him. Scorpion then teleported to the Netherrealm and delivered Havoc's still living head to the Oni, Malak, and Draman. Malak and Draman delivered Havoc's head to Quan Chi. Quan Chi had to deal with Havoc to retain Shinnok's amulet. Havoc had failed, which made Quan Chi furious. He then crushed and killed Havoc's head with his boot. He took his anger out on the 2 Oni, ordering Revenant Katana to kill Malak and using magic to murder Draman. And in the epilogue of the Mortal Kombat X comics, we see Sub-Zero infiltrating the Cyber Lin Kuei temple. This ends with Sub-Zero killing Sector, and Cyrax offering to sacrifice himself by blowing up the Cyber Lin Kuei headquarters from inside. Now during the actual story for Mortal Kombat X, we got 3 deaths. Baraka, who was killed by Devora, Mileena, also killed by Devora, and Quan Chi. Then we get to Mortal Kombat 11, which Mortal Kombat 11's storyline explored time travel, which allowed more characters to come back from the dead. We saw a large number of characters die in Mortal Kombat 11 and Aftermath, starting off with Sonya Blade, who sacrificed herself to destroy a Netherrealm temple early in the game. Kano was killed twice after his past self was shot in the eye, also killing his present self. Sector and Cyrax show up in story mode and are both killed. Cyrax sacrifices himself to destroy the Cyber Lin Kuei, while Sector is used as a bomb by Kano. We can assume that Frost dies when Raiden fries her brain in order to halt the Cyber Lin Kuei. Scorpion is killed by
poison.
So dumb, from Devora, despite him dying from much more badass things in the past. Cetrion sacrifices herself to make Kronika more powerful, but it doesn't really work as Kronika is killed by Fire God Liu Kang in the end. But that's not all. Aftermath gave us a few more character deaths. Kotal Khan gets his first death after being killed by Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn, Sindel, and Shang Tsung then make their way to Kronika's keep, leaving death and destruction in their path. Revenants Jade, Katana, and Kung Lao are killed by Kahn, Sindel, and Shang Tsung. Tsung then turns on them, killing and taking the souls of Sindel and Shao Kahn. The overpowered Tsung then battles and kills Kronika. Now, as of the release of this video, which is after MK Aftermath but before MK12, the last death is still up for debate. Depending on who wins between Fire God Liu Kang and Shang Tsung, the loser will have a total of 4 deaths. tying for third place with Kitana, Kung Lao, and Onaga. Here's how each of these deaths play out. If Shang Tsung loses, Shang Tsung has 4 overall deaths. He was killed in Raiden's blast to eliminate Onaga, killed in Armageddon, killed by Shao Kahn to transfer power to Sindel, and potentially killed by Liu Kang in Aftermath. If Liu Kang loses, the Shaolin Monk has 4 deaths. His neck was snapped by Shang Tsung in Deadly Alliance, he was killed in zombie form in Armageddon, killed accidentally by Raiden, and potentially killed by Shang Tsung in Aftermath. Kung Lao was killed by the Deadly Alliance, killed in Armageddon, had his neck snapped by Shao Kahn, and had his neck snapped by Shang Tsung. Kitana was killed by the Deadly Alliance, killed in Armageddon, killed by Sindel's onslaught, and impaled by Sindel. Onaga was poisoned by Shao Kahn in the original timeline, killed by Shujinko, killed in Armageddon, and poisoned by Shao Kahn in the rebooted timeline. So who takes the top spot for most deaths? Actually, it's a tie between Scorpion and Sindel with 5 deaths each. We'll start with Sindel. She committed suicide in the OG timeline, was killed in Armageddon, killed by Quan Chi in the rebooted timeline, killed during Nightwolf's sacrifice, and had her soul stolen by Shang Tsung. Scorpion was killed by Bi-Han in the OG timeline, killed in Armageddon, killed by Bi-Han in the rebooted timeline, beaten to death by Havoc, and poisoned by D'Vorah. So there you have it, Scorpion and Sindel have died the most in the Mortal Kombat universe with a death count of 5 deaths. Kung Lao, Kitana, Onaga, and potentially Liu Kang or Shang Tsung are tied for third with a death count of 4. Now if you enjoyed this video, it would mean a great deal to me if you could give it a big thumbs up. As always, if you would like to learn more about Mortal Kombat lore and story, head on over to my channel MKTemple and click that subscribe button, and let me know in the comments or in the Discord what videos you would like to see me make in the future. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on my next video.